Hey folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. And today again we will continue with the Professional Ethics by the CA Act 1949. Right? So we have already covered first 5 clauses and we have also started our discussion on the clause number 6. So clause number 6 basically deals with the solicitation of the client, that you are not allowed to go ahead in the market to solicit your clients. Right? If you do that, you will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. Similarly, in clause 5, you're not also allowed to secure your clients. Right? We have dealt with that already in detail, so I'll not get back into the nitty-gritties of those two clauses. But yeah, clause 6, as I told you in the beginning of the chapter, is an extended clause. Now, understand the reason why clause 6 is such a big clause. If you go by the text of the clause, it says very simple things. That you're not allowed to solicit clients by way of circular, advertisement, personal communication and interview. These are the 4 specific things it mentions. Right? But it also says that you have 2 sources open for you. That is, you can request some other chartered accountant, right, for some clients, or you can respond to the tenders and inquiries that have been floated in the market, specifically by those PSUs and government agencies, right? But now this word soliciting client is a highly debatable word. When I say it's highly debatable, that does not mean that you still have a lot of things to debate on. No, things and the guidelines have been prescribed very well in detail. But when I say it was debatable, means the institute had to go on to an extent of drawing a line, right? Drawing a line to specify that this will be considered as soliciting and this will not be considered as soliciting. Because although you do not go out for advertisement, advertisements are like 2 types. That one, you are trying to gain some clients, you are advertising your firm, you are advertising your achievements and a lot of things, and that with an intention to solicit clients. And the other is, for example, if you are undergoing a dissolution or change in the partnership, you still have to give that newspaper advertisement. But that is not for the purpose of soliciting clients. Right? So in this way, the topic has always been debatable. That this will be considered as soliciting, this will not be considered as soliciting, and a lot of things. So for that, institute has given you prescribed guidelines that these things lie on one side of the line and the others lie on the other side. That means if you are into these specific things, I will not consider it, or the institute will not consider it to be soliciting. But if you cross the boundary line, that will be a clear condition of you attempting to solicit clients, and you are prohibited and hence will be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct. So now let us move ahead and see what are the various areas where they have specifically provided you the differences, that what is considered as soliciting and what is not considered as soliciting, right? So that will be the main crux of this clause. So solicitation prohibited by the council. Here is the list. Number 1, advertisement and note in the press. So again, try and understand when we talk about advertisement and the note in the press, right? As I had given you the example already, this becomes a very dicey and a debatable topic again. Because again, if you are changing your partnership, a partner resigns, a new partner comes in, or you are going for a dissolution, again for that you give a note in the press, right? Or you advertise that our location has changed or our partnership has changed and all such things. And on the other hand, even for soliciting clients, you can give in your advertisements that this is a new CA firm that has come up. We are these many partners from CA background, partner from law background and all those things, and we provide these many specialized services. We are a high-tech firm. We use softwares. We have different softwares for sampling. We have different kind of things. We have this connect, that connect. This is our fees, or whatever it is. Even that is an advertisement, right? So the institute actually, when it talks about advertisement and the note in press, gives you the clear bifurcation. as to what will be considered as soliciting client and what is a genuine advertisement or a note in press, right? So we will go through the list first and then discuss each one of them in detail as per the requirement of the institute, right? So the number one, we had advertisement and note in the press. Moving further, we have application for empanelment for allotment of audit and other professional work. You understand what empanelment is? That there are many companies that create or they have a panel that these are the auditors, and then accordingly they appoint or allocate their task to some auditors from that panel itself. So we'll see that in detail when we come to that point, right? We'll discuss each point individually after this. Then we have publication of name or firm name by that chartered accountant in the telephone or other directories, which is published by the telephone authority or the private bodies. So even when you are giving out your name and your details in the telephone directory or any other directory which is maintained by your society, by any private body, by any telephone authority or anywhere, right? Even there, what are the clear specific guidelines that have been prescribed, right? Then we have responding to tenders, advertisements and circulars. The methods of responding, how do you respond? That is also a point of discussion that we will come to, right, later. Either maybe at the end of this lecture, or we will come to each specific points in the next lecture onwards, right? Then we have publication of books or articles. So you have a lot of chartered accountants, right? You know a lot of them who publish their books. They are famous teachers all over. They have their own books, they have their tuitions, they have their practice as well. They do a lot of things. So over there also they have specific guidelines, right? Then you have the issue of greeting cards or invitation. Now if you have a marriage at your place, or if you are inviting for an opening ceremony of your firm, what are the requirements that you need to fulfill? What are the methods of inviting and what are the methods that are prohibited, invitation methods that are prohibited? All these things have been listed. Then you have soliciting professional work by making roving inquiries. Now this is again the case where you, with the institute, say that you should not be going up to a company and asking, hey, do you have a panel? Are you looking for work? Yeah, then this is my card, this is what we do. No, you're not supposed to do that. But if you know if they have declared it that we are looking for somebody and you're responding it, it's okay. But you cannot go and do roving inquiries, right? You understand what roving inquiries is now? We'll still come back to this point in detail. Seeking work from professional colleagues. Now when we talk about professional colleagues, we're not just talking about a chartered accountant. It is about a colleague from any profession, right? Scope of representation which an auditor is entitled to make under section 225 subsection 3 of the Old Companies Act. So friends, this is something you need to understand. If they have specified 225 subsection 3 of Companies Act 1956, make sure you use this specific section in your examination. Don't go on for an alternative section in the new Companies Act. Why? Because the CA Act is not yet amended. They did not say about any specific section dealing with this. No, they have specified the section. So when you use it in the examination, make sure you use this section from the Old Companies Act, right? And that will be applicable for your exam, because if I make a reference to the latest study material that is available with the institute, over there also they have the same date specified, right? Anyone of you who intend can go and still have a look at the new study material, right? Acceptance of original personal work by a member emanating from the client which is introduced to him by another member. You know what this means? I know the English is a little hi-fi over here, but what it actually means to say in plain language is like, for example, if I am a chartered accountant and I have given you some work, that means I have referred a client. Now that client gives you some new work, right? So how do we deal with that situation will also be explained, right? So I refer XYZ Limited to you. That XYZ Limited gives you some more work, some additional work. They have some other things and they want some other professionals to be involved, for example, and they are from your firm. So whatever case may be, how do we deal with that situation will also be discussed. Then you have giving public interviews. So even if you are giving some public interviews, right, you are a certain designation, people are coming to you for interviews, or you have attained something, for that you are giving an interview, you will have to make sure about the manner of your interview. Your interview should not in any way be a mode of advertisement for yourself. You'll have to be careful with that. There are specific guidelines, right? We'll again discuss that. These are just the highlights or the headings that I'm using now. We will study and read about each one of these specifically, right? So don't worry about that why am I hurrying up or rushing through these lists, and why am I not going to the detail? Because we will do it in subsequent lectures, specifically each heading one by one. So next, even for box numbers you have your limitations. So members and or firms like who publish their advertisement under the box number, even they'll have to be careful with the requirements of the institute. And finally, what, how should be your website? What can be the URL? What can be the kind of technology you use? What can be the kind of things you post over there, and everything. With your website, if you have a website of your firm, then what are the requirements that the website needs to fulfill is also detailed, right? And we will discuss about these things now. So I think we'll keep the videos short for your understanding purpose, right? So we'll end this class over here and we'll take our 4 topics each in a lecture and complete it in the subsequent lectures, right? Because again, after going through a class, you need a revision for the same. So I think this will be the best method. So instead of getting into any detail with any topic today in the class, we'll take it up in the next lecture, right? So please stay tuned for that. Until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you and bye-bye.